Hi everyone, welcome once again to A.O.S Global. Thank you so much for joining today's episode. Really do appreciate everyone for coming on board. And today we have yet another wonderful session where we are going to be discussing the 10 biggest Canadian immigration policy changes of 2025, which is going to be in effect in this year 2026. So we are going to talk about what you as an immigrant wanting to come to Canada, what you need to really be focused on, what you need to actually take cognizance of. Because one thing they say is change is inevitable. Changes would always come. You understand? Even this life, we have changed from 2025 to 2026, right? So 1 year will not always be or will not always be in one particular year. We are changing from 1 year to another. Similarly, we are changing from one immigration policy to another. And the beauty about Canadian immigration is that no matter the policy that comes up, Canada is still one of the biggest countries that a lot of people are coming into every year, every single year. Ademola, thank you for liking our live session on TikTok. Whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not, Canada is still one of the major countries that everyone wants to come to. You understand? People that really see the need to come to Canada. Okay, so when it comes to immigration to Canada, oh, okay, Ademola says, my oga, I still dey find money. Oh, well, I don't know what you are looking for money for, but if it is for Canadian immigration, I remember my partner was saying it one time that you will never have enough money to actually work on your Canadian immigration at any single time. I, for instance, didn't have all the money that I needed. You understand? I didn't have all the money that I needed to work on my immigration. I took baby steps, and I think it's basically everything in life. Because if you are looking for a lump sum of money, you understand, to start your immigration process, it's you may be so shocked. I once said in this live session one of the scenarios of one person that he spoke to me on phone. We, you understand, during our on our what they call it consultations, and he was telling me he wanted a certain amount of money before he can start his immigration process. But the sad truth about it is, I think a week or 2 weeks after that, that he was meant to reach out, he didn't reach out again. And even though I was concerned that it was unlike him, he could have chatted, he could have, you understand, sent message and stuff. But later on, he now got to reach out to me and he said that, do I believe that at least a week or two after we spoke, they kidnapped his cousin in Nigeria. And he said the money that he said he didn't have, the money that he said he was, you understand, saving up until the time that he wanted to reach out back. It was part of the money they used to pay for ransom, you understand, to the kidnappers. And yes, life is more when I'm the worth of life is more than immigration, no doubt. But something about it is if you delay on your dreams to move abroad, another person will use that money that you are delaying with to do their own things. You understand? Another person will, whether your spouse, whether your children, whether your extended family, do you understand? They would use that same money that was meant to go for something that would better your life. Because I always tell people one of the best ways that I was able to help my own family was to actually move to Canada. It was one of the best ways because I'm the youngest in my family. But the truth of it is, because I moved to Canada, the way I'm seen now in my family is as if I'm the egbon. I'm the youngest, but it's as if I'm the egbon because I've done something that they were not able to do. Two to three of my brothers were not able to do successfully. Salam alaikum. Okay, OTP. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You understand? I was able to do something that my own family members, my brothers, you understand, and even my dad were not able to achieve. So when your position in your family is looked upon as someone that, yes, when they are making huge decisions, big decisions, that they have to call you because you have done something, and it's not that just coming to Canada is the issue, but coming to Canada and having a significance, having an importance in your family structure is a huge deal, is a big deal. You understand? Because sometimes you realize it that if you have not achieved some certain height in life, people will still not be able to give you that courtesy or that respect that you need, because everyone in this life, we're one way or the other trying to better ourselves. But in line with bettering ourselves, you have to understand that you can't help other people the way you ought to help them if you have not sorted yourself out first. I don't know, maybe you understand what I'm saying. Let me repeat that. Because this happened to me when I was in Nigeria. You try to help family members, but you can't really help them the way that you will be able to help them if you have not helped yourself very well. Do you understand? I was struggling in Nigeria. I had a business in Nigeria. In fact, I had to lock down my business. Some people will tell me that what they call it, you should not sell your properties to come to to Japa. Well, me, I sold my own properties to Japa, and ever since I sold my property to today, I am still happy. I am still grateful for the fact that I sold my property to Japa. Why? Because that same property, if I had not yet sold it that time, shebi they told me that they killed some people in Ilorin, Kwara State, or Kwara State axis, where I was serving, where I was working, where I was doing business. If I didn't have sold my property and used that the amount that I got for my property to Japa, I may not be here currently to actually give my own scenario or to talk about my own story. I may not be here today to, you understand, to kind of advise people and motivate people to take that leap of faith, because everything in life is risk. Understand it, everything in life is risk. Some people, like there was one other person I was talking with, and he said he's scared because he has been duped before, he has been scammed before. I said yes, there are two ways that you can get scammed. You can either get scammed by another person, or you can get scammed by your own self. It's the truth. There are two ways you can get scammed in this life. Either you get scammed by another person, another organization, another, so something outward, something outside, someone that you cannot, what they call it, um you can't control. But the way that you can also get scammed again is by you yourself scamming yourself. Some people wonder, how exactly can I scam myself? Yes, you can scam yourself by, number one, if you see an opportunity that can change your life and you don't take that active step to grab the opportunity, you have scammed yourself. The only difference is that the money that you should have paid someone, you understand, you didn't pay that person to actually do it for you. In other words, you held on with the money, but at a point, there are some monies that you have with you that cannot save you. Is the truth. There's some money that, for example, another person was telling me about how insecurity and everything is affecting them, that they're even scared of taking their children to school. And you understand different stories in Nigeria as they were talking about it. And I said, see, you will not actually get something better out of life until you decide that everything it takes for you to actually give your children the better life that you didn't get in Nigeria, that you will give them. You will never, you see, you will never be able to improve or change your own change your own life, change the lives of your children, if you don't take the active steps to actually ensure that your children have a better life, you understand, in another country. Let me give you another scenario. Someone was telling me that I was lucky to move to Canada. And I said, yes, it's very true. We are lucky to be in Canada. It is not our right, it is a privilege to be in Canada. But the other thing people don't say when it comes to the matter of luck or chance is that they don't say, or they don't know, or they don't remember the amount of times I, for example, needed to take exams, failed exams 3 times, failed English exam 3 times, failed exam French 3 times, and I did exam 5 to 6 times before I was able to come to Canada. They won't say that one when they are talking about luck or chance. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? They won't say that one, or they won't look into that one. See, chance is just about how God gathered you to make sure that you get a better life and not quit on yourself before your life changes. Let me take that again. Chance or luck is all about how determined are you to change your life and change the life of your family, so that little errors, little failures, some people have come across us before and they say they're even tired. Their ages, they are 40 years plus, 50 years plus, they're even tired. They have told them that they cannot move to Canada again. And I say, yes, you cannot move to Canada again if you decide yourself that you believe what people are saying outside, that is not possible for you, that hold cargoes cannot get better lives. No problem. Believe what they are saying outside. The funny thing is about it is if you believe it, it is you that you are still back home in your country. It is you that you are still suffering in your country. It is you that you are still having to, you understand, you are still having to detest and and hate where you are. It is you that you are complaining. Some people will always complain and blame government. Some people will blame Tinubu era. Some people will blame okay, USA. Some people will blame USA, the invention, the intervention that they came to do in Nigeria, where they say they bomb one place. Some people will blame everybody. Some people will blame their family that, oh, it is their village people. There was one person that was telling me that he was thinking it was the village people that were against him, that were, you understand, after him. It's until he came to Canada that he realized that, boy, see, the mentality that he said, even in Canada, the same things that they are saying village people are pursuing people for in Nigeria is also in Canada. But the difference is that you that did not take the right decision, it is you that the village people get. You that did not take the right decision to ensure that you get a better life, is you that the village people will get. People that are determined, that say, okay, oh, even if they're after me, I will make sure that it tire them. I will make sure that these village people will not be able to know peace until I better my life. Those are the people that the village people who at the end of the day leave, they will give up on. You understand? So let me tell you, failures, oh, you have been scammed before, you have been duped before, kò ń ṣàwáwí. Me, I always tell people there are two ways to get scammed, as I've said. Either you were scammed by someone before or you scammed yourself. I myself, I scammed myself twice. Let me tell you the fact. Oh, Folashade, good evening, sir. Good evening, Mao. I scammed myself twice because why? They gave me money to work on immigration. I spent it on my own business in Nigeria. That was the first way I scammed myself. The first way I scammed myself is that the money that was meant for me to use and japa in the year 2018, you understand? I use it for my own business 2018, 2019. When it now come to 2020, that COVID now happen, that lockdown, where we say the business that I was developing, the business that I was building up from ground up, thinking that yes, and of course, there's no doubt about it. Business is the way of a lot of people have, you understand, they have made it big in business, no doubt about it. But the only thing they don't tell you is that you need support, you need networks, you need information, you need connection in that country, Nigeria. It's not like in Canada here. In Canada, I came in 2023, I opened a business up in 2023. 2024, I opened another business. 2025, I opened another business. 2026, sef, we are planning on opening another type of business in 2026. And nobody for once have come to my office and say, hey, Kai Ben, what are you doing? Come and pay fine. Come and pay taxes. Come and okay, of course we are paying taxes, but you know all those nonsense agbero money that you pay in Nigeria that you can't account for it, whether it is going to the government, you can't account for it, whether it's going to a certain infrastructure or going to a certain, you understand, cause. You can't account for those money. Those are the monies that we were paying illegally. And we just had to pay it, or else if we did not pay it, they will frustrate you. You understand? We had to pay all those monies in Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria to do business. So you now realize it. I remember that time I realized it when I developed the billboard. I constructed a billboard, and instead of the billboard to be bringing me more customers, you understand, to be bringing me more people that will come into my business and give me money, and you understand, I realized that the billboard I made, the billboard I posted, I put there, instead of it to make me more money, the money that I was meant to be earning in my own business, to be growing my business further, it was all this, you understand, parastatals, all these government organizations, all these, you understand, agbero company, abi, all those people, that were 7 different organizations came to my, you understand, facility that time. A.O.S Academy in Ilorin, Arantipa Garage, Tanke. They came to my facility that time to collect money for billboard, to collect money for business, to collect money for things that, you understand. Some people were there was one particular nonsense ministry that came that time, Ministry of Higher Education and Colleges, and I said, me, I'm not a college of education. I am not a polytechnic. I am not a university. But they say, no, I still have to pay tax. Say, maybe I'm still teaching people here. Yes, sometimes they just form something to come and exploit you in Nigeria. So I was scamming myself because the money that my brother, for instance, gave me to work on my own immigration, I was using it for business. And at the end of the day, the business that I was not using it for, I could not even account for the benefit or account for the profits or the revenue that I made from those businesses in years. And that's when I realized it that, see, if you don't work to better your life and come to a country that is safe, a country that will secure your assets, a country that will secure your living expenses, a country that will secure, you understand, your children. For example, I never gave birth in Nigeria. I didn't even marry in Nigeria. When I came to Canada and I got married and I gave birth in Nigeria, the government is actively taking care of the child. You understand? The government is actually supporting the child right before the child even was given birth to. We were getting free healthcare. You understand? Free healthcare, free medical checkup. We'll go to the doctor without paying a dime. I cannot go to a doctor and say I want to do general body checkup in Nigeria and they will not collect money. They will collect money in this place in Canada because you are paying taxes. That's what the taxes are meant for. You understand? In Nigeria now, they say you start paying taxes from this year 2026. The question is, what are they going to use those taxes, those money that they generated? What are they going to use it to do? What are the infrastructures that will get better? I always tell people in Canada here, we drive, you understand, we don't see potholes. They are very people don't die because they are potholes. They die because of maybe overspeeding. You are too happy. You understand? You are too happy and you drive recklessly. That is one thing that can cause, and that one you cannot blame government for it. It is human being you blame, right? Because it's human being that is overspeeding, right? But how can people be dying because of bad roads in a country like Nigeria, which they call the giant of Africa? Do you understand? How can people's lives be? That's what I always tell people. Is either you work on your immigration and you come to a saner country, a country. Now, there's another article that I read online about how they were deporting Nigerians, how they were deporting Indians, because I know that's the next thing people will always want to see. It just reminds me of post-COVID time when I started to work on my immigration very seriously. You understand? That same time, people were telling us that Canada are not picking people outside, though. They are picking people inside. It's people that are still inside that they are picking. It's people that are inside that have the opportunity. But that was the same time my cousin in Vancouver, British Columbia. That was the same time he entered Canada, and he was not inside Canada before. He was not a student. He was not, you understand, a worker. He was not a visitor in Canada. He came from outside Canada and he was able to actually set up in Canada. You understand? To become a permanent resident. And that was the same time, around the same time, I and my partner, my common law partner, also landed in Canada. We didn't look at, the fact that they say it is only Canadians or people that are inside Canada that they are giving visa. A lot of people will make excuses because of other people that are getting deported. But they don't know that their own story is different from another person's story. Their own story. See, let me tell you the fact. More people will come into this country, you understand, because of the fact that they did not actually give up on their dreams and they did not let what is going on in the media actually affect their own resolve to get a better life in Canada. While a lot of other people, we look at what they are saying online, we look at what the news is bringing up, and they will not even pursue their immigration. And those are the people that at the end of the day, they are the ones that scam themselves. Because the opportunity is available for everybody. The opportunity is available for everybody. OTP 1234, they say positive mindset. Exactly. The opportunity is available for everybody, regardless of your age. I always tell people, there are some of our clients that we have worked with, people like Dr. Lawal. This man was a lecturer in the Kwara State University, Malete. When I was still in Ilorin, it was called. Imagine you that you never have master self, you never have PGD, and I had someone, Dr. Femi Lawal. I had him coming to my classes in Ilorin to actually teach him French that time, because he saw that even though his age was over 45 plus, you understand, his wife too is also over 45 plus. He said he was so determined to make sure that that his friends that have traveled 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you understand, they are collecting palliative. That was one of the things that motivated the man. He said in this place that they are owing him his salary. You understand? They are owing him. He was trying to get his PhD that time. I think he later got it before he traveled. But he said that time they were owing him, and his own colleagues that are in Canada, his own colleagues that are in the UK, US, they say they are collecting palliative from the government, that they are not even citizens already. They are not citizens of the country already, but they are collecting palliative. I remember that time when that sufferness suffer me, wey be say me sef I know say I suffer that time, that they now say okay, the government is now giving palliative in Nigeria, in Kwara State, so you understand that Ilorin axis tipper garage, and they say okay, we should come and collect palliative, and I now go there, spoon tablespoon, that's what they want to be giving us, rice. Imagine, tablespoon. I was not look, I said I be they are whining me you start, so you now realize that my life is not that so bad that I cannot afford one tablespoon of rice. That was what vexed us to say, okay, we went away from the, you understand, location where they were sharing the palliatives. But what is that telling you? That's telling you that the government does not see. There are some people that they could have gotten that palliative, or that palliative money. They have embezzled it. They have embezzled it. That time, me too, I was part of those people that were blaming the government. I was blaming the chairman, the local government chairman, blaming the councillors. But I just realized it that, see, whether you blame till from now till tomorrow, that country was not bad when they gave birth to you. It was bad even before they gave birth to you. And the truth about it, which is the sad story, it will always continue getting worse. Why? I realized it when my uncle that left Nigeria 2018, when he left, we were telling him in 2019 pé ẹ̀gbọ́n ọmọ ó dàbẹ̀ ṣe fi Nigeria lẹ̀ o, pé Nigeria in fact is worse now, pé Buhari era o, in fact everything, a lot of protest, a lot of endsars, you understand, all those things. We were complaining to him. I remember when my cousin Tosin, when he now traveled, when he migrated to Canada, that was around 2021 or so, or 2022. We were not telling him the same stories. That, oh boy, when you leave, God help you, say you leave that time, but Nigeria now is very, very bad. In fact, a lot of things is happening. You understand? A lot of issues post-COVID time. People are suffering. They are looting people's shops. In fact, that instance of looting, when I said I constructed a billboard, and I saw that they were looting around ShopRite, they were looting around, you understand, all this mall in Ilorin Kwara State. The night they say they were looting, I saw me, I just come outside because that time I just bought new set of chairs, new set of chairs and tables for my students. We were thinking that people were going to resume and they will stop the lockdown, you understand. So I just bought some very nice things, and I saw that day when they were bringing those chairs inside, when the billboard and everything, people were seeing it in the location, you understand. So people were even congratulating me, well done, that kind of, never knowing that few months down the line I'll close that business. You understand? So I bought some instruments for my own teaching. When they said they were looting like this, now so I come outside. I got to do megad. I was doing megad because I was scared. Hey, oh boy, me that I just say, even without things are difficult, I just gather money. You understand? Develop something, gather money to do billboard, you understand, to buy new chairs and, you understand, new set of equipment. That's it, they are now looting. And we were now scared. Me and some other business people around that axis of tipper guard, we were not scared. I thought they will not, the craze will not come from ShopRite and other places and come to now affect we that we are small business owners. It was one of those times that I realized that, oh boy, this life, if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't ensure that you yourself, you protect your own property, you protect your own life, there was one guy in ShopRite, that mall side in Ilorin Kwara State, that he said they took a lot of things in his barber shop. You understand? The guy he just opened barely few weeks ago, and when they started the looting, 2020, 2021, the guy said they broke even his car. They took even his car. They took the battery of his car. They opened the bonnet. They break the glass. You understand? So I was not looking. Yes, we are blaming government. Yes, we are blaming our leaders. But give people the opportunity to thief. Give people the opportunity to steal things, they will steal. So it's normal. That's when I realized that, oh boy, it was me that was scamming myself. Forget, I did not give people money. I did not give people money to work on my immigration. But when my own brother gave me money from the US to work on immigration, and I gotta be using more money and do business, that's when I realized that it was me that was setting myself up for failure in life. It was me that was setting myself up for failure. It was not my brother. You can't blame the brother that has herpes. You understand, Aburo? But the Aburo thing maybe he have sense. He collect money from one purpose and he go and be using it for another purpose. You understand? Thank you, Edon Habs. You sent hearts me. Really appreciate you. You're my first gifter for today. Really do appreciate you. You're the number 2 fan. So let me tell you something. The truth about it is Canada is open to everybody. But the truth is they will not collect mediocres. They will not collect people that are not determined enough. I remember that time when I was now later pursuing my immigration. Someone was not telling me, one of my friends that was telling me that you are just wasting your money. You understand? They are telling you to write IELTS. Shebi, you are from Nigeria. Shebi, you too, you speak English from the cradle. You know, sometimes the reasoning of some people, when you first reason it on a surface level, you will realize that that person is saying the fact. You will realize that that person, on the surface level, he have sense. On the surface level, the person is sensible. It is normal sensible talk the person is saying. But at a point, I was not looking at myself. That means if I'm just paying these people money. They are failing me, failing my IELTS exam, failing my French exam. But this thing, they are just using it as a way to make money, Jerry. You understand? But when I now go to now realize that, okay, the same IELTS me I'm writing in Nigeria, the same TEF Canada I'm writing in Nigeria, people that are in Benin Republic, that them too, they were speaking French from their cradle, from their birth, from their child. They have been speaking French. Them too, they are writing TEF Canada. Them too, they are writing TCF Canada for French. The same people that are in US, that yes, English is even their mother tongue. But them too, when they want to come to Canada, they are telling them to write IELTS, telling them to write CLP. That's when I now go back and I say, oh, so Nigeria itself, we are not special. The same way they are telling people outside to write IELTS and self is the same way they are telling us to write IELTS and self. So I realized this, that I am not special. The fact that people that are from English speaking country are also writing the English exam, then why would I be thinking that I will be so special? You understand? I wrote exam 3 times, English, French 3 times. But again, people, once they hear that, they'll say, you are just paying money, paying money. I spent 6.7 million naira within the 5 years I worked on my immigration from 2018 down to 2023. It was 5 million naira I spent on my immigration. But you know the funny thing? When I came into Canada, when I migrated successfully into Canada, when Canada say yes, so you have tried, come in with all my determination, say, Omo, now do or die, this thing go be. When I finally landed in Canada, that money, 6.7 million naira I spent within 4 months. This one is not only joke. Within 4 months, I was able to make that money and more in Canada. I was able to make that money, you understand, and more in Canada. So I realized it that immigration outside of your country is never a waste if you are determined enough to make it happen. It is never a waste if you are determined to say, no, this thing, I would get it and benefit not only myself, but benefit my wife, if you have a wife, my children, if you have children, or if you have not even given. In my own situation, I never gave birth, I never got married in Nigeria. It was when I landed in Canada that I settled down. My wife is being taken care of by the government. You understand? My child that I just gave birth to last year, she's collecting money in the hundreds of thousands, on the hundreds of dollars, which is roughly like a 1 million naira plus from the Canadian government legally. Legally, it's not that we are doing it. There's something they call social benefits. Social benefit that you will get once you are qualified for it, because what, you are a resident in the country. So all the money that I've spent, all the so-called monies that I spent to work on immigration, whether you scam yourself by not doing immigration or they scam you, you understand? People like looking at the past, but they don't know that they are affecting their future by focusing so much on the past. In my own past, I wasted 5 years to work on immigration. I was doing trial and error, and because of that, me too, as a sharp Ijebu boy now, as a sharp Ijebu boy, I didn't want to pay anybody for my immigration. Thank you. I see so much like OTP want to. As a sharp Ijebu boy, you understand? I was looking at what are they doing that me I cannot do, and that is the truth. It's a truth thing. It's not kini. You if you are someone that you can research, which I was very good at. I was like a university scholar, as I do say. I graduated the best student in my what do you call it, in my university days. If you go and check in University of Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria, in the Department of Linguistics and Nigerian Languages, I was the in fact, this year will make it the 10th year when I finished my program. I finished in the year 2016. You understand? The 2016 set. This year will make it the 10th year. You understand? I was the best overall graduating student. But the truth about it is in Nigeria, oh, back by first class. Oh, back by if you don't get a good job, if you don't have connection to get a good job, that first class will just waste. To waste is the truth. Because maybe I saw some of my own friends that were from other departments. Because when you are a scholar, you would know other scholars in other departments. So I knew other scholars, other best graduate students. There were some of them that they were taraka in Tanke. Maybe me, I even started business on my own. Some people were not able to start business. Some people don't have the capital. Some people were not able to save up. Some people did not have opportunity. Some people were literally, that was when, sometimes when you see someone that you say, okay, you have taraka, look for job, they did not see job. That's when they will not say they want to go and do masters again. Some people even go back to school and do masters. They finish school again, they did not get job. Oh, boy. That time, me, I not even do master. It was business I was doing. They finish master, they did not get job. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it is not how far, but how well. You go back in first class. Oh, back graduate. I graduated best graduating students. When I say okay, let me go to my department and become a lecturer. All those old cargos, they were looking for you. You want to come and become lecturer? Who do you know? Are you from Ilorin? I mean, my name self, they always give me disadvantage. When they not hear like all this shake name, no shake name in my name. It's just normal as this should they look show. Shani show ni family ni Ilorin by ni show. They did not give me appointments. I did not get job as a lecturer, even though I graduated best student. So what am I saying in essence? What I'm saying in essence is you never fail until you give up. If I had given up on myself and I said, oh, because I did not graduate, I did not, even though I graduated best student, I did not get lecturing job, and I allowed that to, you understand, and I allowed that to discourage me, I wouldn't have progressed in life. Is the truth. And if after doing Canada immigration, the first attempt, the second attempt, and I got discouraged that these people they're just wasting our money, they're collecting our money. These other benefits that I got in Canada when I finally landed, myself and my partner, and even now my child, who is a Canadian. Yes, my child is in fact, she was a Canadian before she was a Nigerian. She is a Canadian, and the beauty of it is, in fact, she have rights more than me self in Canada. My child has rights more than me self in Canada. It's the truth, because she's a natural born citizen. You understand? A natural born citizen. So what am I saying in essence? What we are saying in essence is, don't give up on your immigration plans because you see a little hiccup. So people say, okay, they have started deporting people. Do you want them to deport you? If you don't want them to deport you, follow who no road. Do you understand? You don't want them to deport you. Do what will not make you get deported. People like us, when we're hearing about deportation, we are not concerned. You understand? We are never concerned. Why? Because we don't get paper for the country. You understand? And once you have a very good paper, when you have residency, when you are a permanent resident, It is if they want to do what is unthinkable. That's when they can say they can deport people like, or if you have case of criminality, like huge, or let me say very bad criminality. And me, wey be say na from outside dey even work. Wey be say I no dey go outside too much. Where God forbid, where criminality go come? So what am I saying in essence is take charge of your life. If you want a better life is attainable. A better life is attainable. Some people don't need to travel abroad to have that better life. Yes, I need to always so say that. Some people, for example, if you are people like Sabinus, you are people like Mr. and Mrs. Funke Akindele, you understand? You are people you are making it in your industry. You understand? People like those people, if they ever say they want to come to Canada, I will invest for them. You understand? I will invest for them because they are killing it. Funke Akindele, for example, they say she's the highest gross earning actor. You understand? In Nigeria, even though actress, me, I always call them before they say actor. I say, okay. You understand? She's killing it in Nigeria, killing it in Africa. Those people, they don't need to come and settle in Canada. Even if they can definitely settle, but they don't need. They just come here for vacation, for holiday. You understand? Come and enjoy themselves and go back because Nigeria is making money for them. But you that you are the tools, you that you are the one struggling. Some people will say, I don't have money. I'm looking for sponsorship. I say, okay, continue. Continue. You understand? That's why some people, there was one woman that called me that she said, she was looking for sponsorship. She saw sponsorship. Even passports, international passport, she did not have that time. This thing she says more than 7 years ago. She did not have passport. The person that she saw online say, don't worry, they will do passport for her, they will do visa. Maybe she want to travel, say Canada. I say yes, no problem. And truthfully, I remember when I was coming to Canada, we moved from Nigeria down to Egypt. You understand? Egypt, Cairo. And from Egypt down to what? Down to Ontario. And that's how they said Atushi is going to move. You understand? Connecting flights. And she moved from Nigeria down to Egypt. For Egypt, for 7 years, connecting flights never land. You understand? But the agent has been taking her from one, you understand, house to another. She has been working for those ones. You understand? Working for those, and those ones have been exploiting her. They have been using her. They have been assaulting her for 7 years. Because sometimes some people don't know what they are looking for. They think maybe one person we give them free visa. You understand? I will not collect something in return. I don't always tell people there are two ways for you to come to Canada. Either you come to Canada with your money, with your skills, with your abilities, you understand, which of course you have to also pay for, or you come to your money, you come to Canada or any other place with your body. If you are not willing to pay with your money, you should be willing to pay with your body. Sometimes it sounds harsh. It sounds harsh, but that is what is happening. Some people, they sell them to slavery, all in the mind of they are looking for sponsorship, just sponsorship, visa sponsorship. It's not that those things are not available, they are available. But if you are looking for sponsorship that you will not pay a dime, you understand? And you say, they say, what can you do? You don't have a unique skill, a very important to say, I can do nanny, I can do caregiving, I can do, no problem, you go do it, you go tire. The woman now, she say, that time when they say, what can she do? Say you can do anything. You understand? Part of the ashawo thing now that they say she should go and do in Egypt now. She say, no, she's not doing it. You have said you can do anything now. Abi? You know, for 7 years now, she has been there. She's not calling people like us, saying that she need help. Okay, you need help. Which kind of help you say you can do anything? It's still just sponsorship you're looking for. Okay, well done. You say you don't have money. Even the money that they were meant to be paying you, the agent is saying that you have not finished paying the money that he used to bring you to Egypt. Don't be saying na Canada, to Egypt. Imagine, because of people too. He say you have already signed contract with the agent. Told the agent that okay, he should take you to Canada first. When he take you to Canada, once you are working, you'll be paying small small. I was not telling the woman. I said, shebi that is, even though he has not brought you to Canada, he will still bring you to Canada. But that agent, go and reach out back to him, because that agent, you both of you have had contract before. You understand? I was not there when you were having the contract. You understand? And now that you say you has even seized your passport, your international passport is with agent. How will you not get another passport? Double. So there are some people that I realize that whether you like it or not, you can't help. You can't help. When you are talking to people like that, you just realize that they have put themselves in pampe aye. You understand? Pampe aye. So for God to, it's God that can help them. It's God. It's not human being again. You understand? Because they have so much. You see, anything that is too good to be true, like an offer that you say that is too good to be true, be very careful of those kind of offers. Vibes man is saying, Lord, yes, be very careful of those kind of offers. Once it is too good to be true, be very, very careful. Nobody in this world, see, nothing is entirely free. Nothing isn't, even the thing that they will say freebie, they will say, there are some people who always watch online, and they will say they are going to stores, they are going to markets, they are going to give people money. At the end of the day, it's not that they are just giving people money without getting something back. Those people, they can be doing content. And the content, the money they will get from the content will be more than the money that they are giving people. There are some people that will be looking, they'll be doing free, be giving people 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 naira. It's not that they are just giving you that thing free. Oh. They are using to collect money, more money from the, you understand, from other enterprise, from other platforms like YouTube will be paying them. So you will not be thinking, you just be expecting something free, free, free. Nothing is free. I do tell people, I myself spent 6.7 million naira to come to Canada. And if you're not willing to spend, no problem. Always say we can't work with some people like that. But there are a lot of people online, a lot of so-called travel agents, you understand, that will be willing to work with you. You understand? We don't want people that will not come and be shaping for us later on. That he go dump me for Egypt. I mean, there was one other guy that was saying he was in Libya, that he didn't want to pay agents. But you understand? He saw opportunity. The opportunity was saying that yes, they will take him to Europe. You understand? And with that Europe, they say, okay, no problem, go by. You understand? He doesn't need visa. You understand? He go through all this desert, all these routes, Agadez, Niger, all this. When he go desert, when he see say people they die like fowl. Now there he go change mind, say, oh boy, if like say na Libya he go dey, say people they die before on their go to Europe. I say, out of the updates that they were telling you, they did not tell you the update of people will die. You say, yes, they tell you, but it was still maybe it was play. I said, it's play. You don't have money to pay. See, in essence, what we are trying to say is nobody always have all the money that is required for immigration at once. Do you understand? I didn't have the 6.7 million naira that I said that I used to work on immigration. I didn't have it at once. I didn't have it staying in one bank. That's why when some people will call and they'll say, please, I want to know the full amount that I will use to work on immigration. You are still not serious. So those are the people that will always say you are scamming yourself, because the money that you're asking for is the money you use to scam yourself. When you know that even 3 square meal is wahala, you are not looking for full pack, you are looking for to know the final amount you use to work on immigration. The 6.7 million naira I always quote that I use for my own immigration, I never knew the full amount until I have landed in Canada. I never knew that is how much I used to work on Canada immigration. But the day I have 100,000, I started with that. The day I had 500,000, I started with that. There was even one time 20,000, 6,000. You understand? You take baby steps, baby steps, baby steps on your immigration process. Some people say they are looking for lump sum, but when they have like 5 million. And the funny thing is, when they now finally have that 5 million, analysis paralysis will now set in again. That omo, shey na so I go just drop this 5 million so. You see problem. That is where see sometimes Satan abi devil always look for ways to impede your success. You understand? So people, they are wise to a fault. You have been wise to say, okay, you want full package, you want to know the full amount. Sometimes they will not have some little amount that they can start with, but they will not start with that. At the end of the day, that money, like the other person that I told you, that he said that okay, he wanted to start on immigration, but he was waiting for lump sum. At the end of the day, they kidnapped his cousin in Nigeria, because they kidnapped his cousin. The money was meant to use for immigration was the money he was using to pay ransom, and even the money itself, complete. Imagine, you get, it is sad to get kidnapped, but that is the more reason why you have to know that you have to protect yourself first. If you don't protect yourself, if you are in countries like Canada that you have started you have started working on your immigration, and maybe God help you, you shall look for a way, Akbala, you come to Canada and you start working. The 5 million that you thought maybe was money, of course, you even make more than the money in months in here in this place. You'll be able to even pay more ransom. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Then when you now use all the money that you do now have other monies to use and work on your immigration, and you are saying they should help you. They should help you, but you not help yourself. How do you now want the heaven to help you? Okay, OTB says, so which IELTS is advisable to register? It depends on what you want to do. All these things we always tell people, see, your visa that you are applying for will determine the pathway you are going to use to go through. There are different IELTS. There's IELTS academic training, there's IELTS general training, there's IELTS UKVI for those that are traveling to UK. You understand? There's IELTS life skills for those that are doing professional. So they are different. It depends on what. If you go, maybe you are coming to Canada and you go and do IELTS for UK, you are whining yourself. You understand? Because they will not accept it. So the first thing is to know the visa you want to work on. And it is not all visas that require IELTS. It's not all visa that require IELTS. There are some that don't require, and there are some that really does require. So if you want to learn more about what you need and how we can actually assist you, go on our website, aosglobal.org, or just click on the link in our bio. Once you click on the link in our bio, you will be able to actually get redirected to our website. On the 10th of January, we are having a masterclass, which is this Saturday that is coming up. We are going to be explaining to people the number one skill Canada is currently requiring of those that are immigrating to Canada. That's very, very important, because if you don't know what Canada is looking for now, so people will say Canada are not picking, they are not picking people. I say yes, they are not picking people that do not have certain skills that they are looking for. If you are just like every other person, they will not pick you. They are picking people that have the skills that are in demand, skills that they have jobs or companies that are looking for experts on. So if you don't have those skills, they cannot pick you. You are useless to Canada. It's the truth. I will tell you the fact. You are useless to Canada if you don't have the in-demand skills that they are looking for. And ever since we have been working on immigration, we have found out that there's one particular skill that, come rain, come sunshine, that skill will open more doors for you than any other skill. So we are going to be unveiling that skill on our live session. How would you know? Just go on our website, aosglobal.org. There's a ticket for our masterclass. It's a paid masterclass. Some people say, paid masterclass, I'm not paying for it. I say, no problem. See, this life not be fight. You understand? If you don't want to pay for knowledge, no problem. This life, see, I've told you there are two ways you can scam yourself. The two ways is either you hold your own money yourself, and that's the way me I scammed myself when I was working on my immigration. You understand? And that's the way that is. It took me 5 years to work on my immigration and to finally land, because I was doing trial and error, trial and error, trial and error. If you don't want something that would quickly give you the exact thing you are meant to focus on, and because there are a lot of information out there, a lot of information. In fact, I always tell people, everything, there's nothing new under the surface of the earth. There's nothing new as regards to Canadian immigration. But the truth about it is, as everything is outside there, many people don't know what to focus on. Many people don't know what to focus on. And because you don't know what to focus on things, you have that information, but you cannot sieve between it. You can't sieve the one that is really important and the one that is not. And that is what we have actually done for you. We have sieved the information that is out there, and we are helping people to focus on one information. And one thing we have found out is, we have been talking about some of these things for quite a while, but because there are no commitments attached to many of these things, people don't take it as serious as they should. And that is why, again, we are actually picking the best of the best. We are working with those that are the serious of the serious, the number 1% serious. We are not working with everybody. In fact, this year our motto is to reject as many people as possible that we are working with, and to select the very few people that are serious, because we have found that it's not about the quantity, but it's about the quality of the people. If it is one person or two people, even in the whole year that we work with, that are extremely serious to make sure that their Canadian immigration works out, we are okay. with working with just one or two people per month or per year, because we have found out that a lot of people will still not come to Canada, whether you see, whether you like it or not. Because the policies which we are going to be talking about shortly, policies of Canada immigration is changing drastically. It's changing almost every time. But we have found out that there's one skill that, again, no matter how Canada change, that one skill has remained constant. That one skill has remained what Canada is focusing on, and they would be willing to always select people that have that skill. So if you want to be part of those that we are going to unveil that particular skill for, and we are going to focus on helping you achieve that skill, so that in next 3 to 6 months you move to Canada quickly, and you don't be amongst those that they are just going to come to Canada anyhow. Go on our website, aosglobal.org, or click on the link in our bio. Once you click on the link in our bio and you click that particular link, you'll be able to see our live masterclass. We're having it in 3 days' time, on the 10th of January 2026, and we're going to be explaining, in line with even some of these big changes that we're going to be discussing right now. So in this live session, we want to discuss the ten biggest Canadian immigration policies or immigration policy changes of 2025, last year, that is going to be effective, or that has even started getting effective this particular year. Now look at it. Even this year, even this month, even this week, Canada has started inviting people. If you don't know it now. Canada has started inviting people this week to come to Canada. But the truth about it is, it's not everybody they are inviting. They are inviting the best of the best. The people that have something to offer, not people that they say, "What can you do?" You say you can do anything. Mm-mm. They are looking for people that really have things to offer to the country. Because you have to understand something, as I always say, Canada is not free. No, nothing is free in this life. As they are allowing people to come into the country, they know that they would use these people, or these people are going to work and actually pay back into the system, pay back into the economy. If you understand the concept of immigration, well, immigration will be easier for you. Understand it. Every country wants to develop themselves, they want to develop their economy. So what are those skills that, if you have, will help a country develop? That is what you're really meant to be focusing on. Now, Janice Rodriguez said in her article, which was the 10 biggest Canadian immigration policy changes of the year 2025, which is going to be effective this year, 2026. He said Canada's immigration system has undergone sweeping changes last year, 2025. Over the course of the year, Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, IRCC, they made many major announcements, from substantial changes to express entry to new restrictions on spousal open work permits. Now, taken together, the changes indicate a more targeted approach to permanent residence (PR), prioritizing special skills and occupations, and narrowing access to more general pathways through stricter eligibility criteria. Now, what are they saying in essence? What they are saying in essence is, Canada are not just picking any riffraff. They are not just picking anybody that says, "Yes, I want to come to Canada." Mm-mm. It's just like people that, when we are making our adverts, "I'm interested, I'm interested, I'm interested. Please help me, please help me, please help me." Mm-mm. It's not by those words. It's by what you can give, the talent you have, the skills you have. Sometimes it's not even about the education. It's about the skills. I'm always big on skills, telling people to learn skills. But in our live session, our paid live session, we are going to be discussing on January 10, 2026, that number one skill, that one skill that Canada is prioritizing. So if you want to be part of that live session, that masterclass, go on our bio, click on the link on our bio, and get your own ticket right now. Now, here's a look at the biggest policy changes and updates of the year 2025, and whom they are going to impact the most. Number one, passing the Bill C3, an act to amend the Citizenship Act. This one is positive. Now look at this. They said whom this impact. People affected by the former first generation limit (FGL) who now qualify for Canadian citizenship. For example, if you are part of those that you have your father or your grandfather that was a Canadian, you understand? On December 15, 2025, the Bill C3 came into force. That was even last year, like about 3 weeks ago. They said the legislation addresses the former FGL, which is first generation limit, on citizenship by descent, which prevented Canadian citizens born or adopted abroad through what? Citizen by descent, from passing citizenship to children also born or adopted abroad. Now, what are they saying in essence? If you were a Canadian and you were giving birth to abroad, and you too, you now gave birth to another person abroad, you didn't come to Canada first, you gave birth to another person abroad, or you adopted someone abroad, that person may not have gotten citizenship as at before. But he said with the Bill C3 in effect, thousands of lost Canadians have become eligible and can now apply for proof of Canadian citizenship. Now, if you had your father or your grandfather that was giving birth to abroad that became citizen, but you didn't become citizen because you were also giving birth to abroad, you can now check your lineage to see that, oh, can I become a citizen without necessarily going through the what, the permanent residency or the what, the other visa pathways? Because going forward, children born or adopted abroad on or after December 15, 2025 to a Canadian parent who was also born or adopted abroad must meet a substantial connection requirement defined as the parent having spent at least 3 years in Canada prior to what? Prior to the child's birth or adoption. So what they just mean is that if your parent is now a citizen of Canada and maybe they are 50 years of age, but they came to Canada to spend 3 years and they went back to maybe like Africa, you can still become a citizen of Canada, even if they are not actively living in Canada right now, right? So that's the one for citizenship. A lot of you may not have your father, your mother, your grandfather, your grandmother that were citizens before. So we cannot actually change that one. Let's leave that one. Number two, removing the CRS points for arranged employment. Another big change that Canada did last year is that they removed points, CRS points, for those who had job offers in Express Entry. And whom would this impact? All Express Entry candidates in the what? In the Express Entry pool. Because on March 25, 2025, IRCC updated Express Entry rules so candidates no longer receive additional comprehensive ranking system CRS points for arranged employment through their labor market impact assessment supported job offers. Previously, they said that candidates with job offer, if you had a job offer before, you could actually receive an additional 50 or 200 CRS points, which will significantly improve your likelihood of receiving an invitation to apply for permanent residency (ITA). But this change has leveled the playing ground. Now look at this. So look at this. This is very important. They said this change has leveled the playing ground, removing any advantage those with an LMIA supported job offer previously had for receiving an ITA. Now people don't know changes to policies will benefit some people and it will not benefit some people. That's life. Just like life. Even this year 2026 will benefit some people and it will still not benefit for some people. That is life. You understand? Blame it on life. The federal government of Canada first announced this change in 2024, the changes, and they started stating a desire to reduce fraud because they knew that a lot of people were buying job offer. You understand? And to strengthen the integrity of Canada's immigration system as a reason behind the change. So what are they saying in essence? Those that were buying jobs to come to Canada from people, they kind of use this to stop them from buying jobs. And that means that you did not get job in Canada, you can still move to Canada without necessarily having a job in Canada. But with having a skill that will benefit or that will help you to actually qualify more for Canadian immigration than a job offer. Now, number three, overhauling category based selections. This is huge. Whom this impacts? Express entry candidates with qualifying experience in priority categories and occupations. Now, look at this. They said in February 2025, IRCC updated category based selection priorities for 2025. And that update saw the addition of education as a priority category and the removal of transport occupation altogether. I remember one of my our clients that actually got selected under the education draw. He got selected because this person had a lot of skills. He had skills in tech, he had skills in IT. But when he saw that, oh, IT was not getting selected. That was when I remember that last year I talked a lot about how people can make use of their national youth service corps experience to work on immigration. And this is something similar the guy did. He used the experience because everybody you know that as under NYS in Nigeria, most likely you will go and teach. You will go and teach in school, most likely. You understand? And he was opportune to be a teaching assistant. He used this teaching assistant experience to get selected under the what? Under the express entry. And as they say, the rest is history. Now he's working on his immigration, and by God's grace, we expect that this year he's going to land in Canada. Now, the healthcare category was expanded with numerous social services occupations added, which made it become the healthcare and social services category. Now, this is another way people are coming to Canada through the healthcare and social services. Finally, IRCC restructured the eligible occupations listed under all categories, adding some and removing others. For example, the STEM category, it saw 19 occupations removed and 6 other new occupations added to it. Candidates who qualify for category-based draws are more likely to get PR through express entry. Now you have to note, if you are not in Canada already, you are not a student, you are not an international student, or you are not in Canada already as a worker, as a temporary foreign worker, that does not mean you can still not come to Canada. You can come to Canada and even become a permanent resident and be better than someone or have more status than someone that has been in Canada for 2, 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. It happened to us. I remember when I came into Canada in the year 2023, there were some people that were already in Canada 4 years ago. And because I came in as a permanent resident with my pali, they were saying, how were you able to do it? Even us that we are here, you have not become permanent residents. Because why? My people, again, it is not how far, but how well. If you work on your immigration the right way, you will come to Canada and you will not even be worried about deportation. Or you understand? Them saying that you're not qualified. You won't be worried about those things. You won't be worried about changing visa. You know, some people, once 1 year has already want to knock like this, they're already scared. Hey, okay, how can I switch my visa? How can I extend my visa? You will not have to be bothering about that. Do you understand? So candidates who qualify for category-based draws, as we said, they are more likely to get PR through express entry. Because to qualify for an occupational category, a candidate typically must have 6 months of continuous full-time work experience in a single eligible occupation within the past 3 years. And in December 2025, IRCC also announced a new express entry category for physicians with Canadian work experience, with draws expected to begin in early 2026. So we're expecting draws for those who are in the medical field, physicians, those that are basically doctors, to actually get selected through this new category as well. Number four is adding restrictions to family work, open work permits. Who are affected by this change is international students and foreign workers seeking open work permits for their spouses or common law partners. Now, this one is huge because a lot of people are students. They said effective January 21, 2025, IRCC tightened eligibility for family open work permits (OWPs). For international students, eligibility was restricted to spouses or common law partners of students enrolled in master's programs of 16 months or longer, doctoral programs, or select professional programs like nursing, engineering, and law. In addition to this, family open work permits for foreign workers were also limited to spouses or common law partners of those working in training, education, experience, and responsibilities tier 0 or tier 1 occupations, and select tier 2 or tier 3 occupations in fields such as healthcare, trade, and natural resources. And of course, there you can view the list of the tier 2 and 3 occupations that can still get a work, a spouse, a family open work permit here. Now, those are four major big changes that we had last year. The fifth change that we had last year is overhauling the field of study requirements for PGWPs. And what does this mean? They said those that are impacted are international students with non-exempt programs who want a postgraduate or post-graduation work permit, PGWPs. In 2024, IRCC introduced a field of study requirement to be eligible for a PGWP. International students in non-exempt programs must complete a program in an eligible field of study linked to occupations in long-term shortage, including areas prioritized under express entry. So in June 2025, IRCC updated the eligible list, and then in July 2025, they reinstated fields that had been removed, stating the removed fields will remain eligible until the list is updated again in early 2026. So, as a result of this change, there are currently 1,107 PGWP eligible education programs available for international students who seek to work in Canada after graduating. Bachelor's, master's, and doctoral programs are exempt from field of study requirements. So if you are coming to Canada, you want to study bachelor's, master's, doctorate, you don't need to focus or you don't need to bother yourself about that requirement. Number six is what is introducing new rules for international students changing schools. Whom does it affect? Most post-secondary international students seeking to transfer to a new designated learning institution, DLI. Now, starting November 8, 2024, study permit holders at the postgraduate post-secondary level must be enrolled at a DLI named on their study permit, right? Now, they said prior to this change, students could change schools without needing to apply for a new study permit. They were required only to inform IRCC. But this means international students should also keep in mind the processing time for a study permit extension. For example, as of the time of writing this article, it takes 119 days to process, which could cause a significant delay for an international student looking towards to start a new curriculum. That those are for international students. If you're not in Canada already, you don't need to focus on that. But number seven, change to policies is changing policy regarding provincial immigration. Now, this is where I want to really focus on. Whom does this impact? It impacts foreign nationals seeking provincial nominations. Remember, I got selected to come to Canada through PMPs, the Provincial Nominee Program. The exact program that nominated me was the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program, OIMP. You understand? So in 2025, Canada's provincial nominee programs, PMPs, swung sharply because of the federal government's nomination allocation cuts across the board in January 2025. As a result, many provinces and territories paused on narrowed streams and focused on priority sectors. For example, British Columbia, they suspended certain graduate streams. Nova Scotia and PEI, Prince Edward Island, they what emphasized healthcare, trades, and childcare. And Saskatchewan, they limited overseas recruitment outside priority sectors and imposed caps in what in certain industries. So throughout the year 2025, all provinces and territories except Ontario, they negotiated allocation increases, restoring many to numbers close to what to their previous year's allocation. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. It said we have been muted. I had a call. The call was coming in on the first TikTok account. I hope you can be able to hear me now. The call has been cut off, so I hope you're able to hear me right now. All right, thank you. So we're talking just to recap what I said. I was talking about PNPs, provincial nominee programs. A lot of provinces, you understand, they focused on priority sectors like healthcare, like trades, like childcare, and the rest of them. And mind you, we said, for example, Alberta and Manitoba, they received 65% of their 2024 allocation, while the Yukon and the Northwest Territories, they received 94% and 100% of their 2024 allocation, respectively. Ontario, which was the province that got me selected, they didn't negotiate their increase. But something about Ontario that I always tell people is that one way you can come into Canada is through the province of Ontario. Because, of course, Ontario is one of the biggest provinces that accepts lots of immigrants every year. So, as I said, Ontario selected me. There were two provinces that selected me during my own time on when I was working on immigration, the province of Ontario and the province of Quebec. But I later focused on just Ontario. Why? Because Ontario, their own structure for provincial nominee programs that I've gotten to realize is that if you qualify, they will give you. If you qualify, you get your visa through what? Through the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program. It is quite direct, quite straightforward. If you're under the express entry, you stand a very good chance of getting selected through Ontario. Even if you were not selected, you understand, through the normal federal government streams of invitations. All right, Jimo Abdul Wahid, thank you for liking our live session. Okay, I see you. I've also joined. Do you have any questions for us, or do you have anything you'd like to add to what we're saying today? Okay, so if not for now, the number eight policy change that I want everyone to focus on this year, 2026, is changing the medical exam requirement for express entry PR applications. Now, if you are in the medical field, those that are affected by these changes are people applying for permanent residency through express entry. You understand? And in August 2025, IRCC implemented a change requiring non-exempt express entry applicants to complete an IME, which is an immigration medical exam, upfront prior to submitting their PR applications. If you remember, I think last year, no, previous year, 2024, they didn't accept upfront medicals. But last year, 2025, they started accepting upfront medicals. You understand? Because the new requirements took effect on August 21st, 2025, right? So previously, applicants could submit their application for permanent residence and they would await the instructions from IRCC and then complete a medical exam, you understand, if it was necessary. So those applying for permanent residency through express entry, they who had already lived in Canada and have completed the previous IME within the last 5 years, you understand, they indicate they would show either low or no risk to public safety, and of course they will be exempt from, you understand, needing to complete any medical examination. All right. So what we are saying in essence is things are changing in Canada immigration, and some are changing for the betterment of some people, some are changing not for the betterment of some people. But the truth about it is, if one doesn't work for you, there are a lot of changes. If one pathway doesn't work for you, you can come into Canada through another pathway. Do you understand? If your because I always tell people there are three basic ways you can come into Canada, either through the federal government draws, or the provincial government draws, or the community draws. You understand? And federal government can be maybe study permits, work permits, express entry, you understand, and the likes. Provincial draws, which are one of the ways I came in, you understand? Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program, a lot of people are still getting selected through that. Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program is still another viable way a lot of people are using to get selected. There are a lot. Alberta and Manitoba, a lot of programs. Under provincial programs, you have about 80 different programs you can get selected on. So instead of beating yourself around the bush of, okay, I'm not qualified for this, look for another program you can get selected to. You understand? And that brings me to my information for today. If you want to learn the number one skill that would help you, regardless of the province you are going to, regardless of the draw that you are going through, regardless of the pathway you are using to come to Canada, you understand? We are going to be having a live masterclass where we are going to be explaining to you the number one skill that Canada is prioritizing for this year 2026 and how you can actually qualify for that particular, you understand, that particular draw. If you want on that particular skill, if you want to actually learn more, click on our bio, click on the link on our bio, click on our website, aosglobal.org, and go get your tickets. You understand? We are not taking a lot of people. It's not like the previous webinars that we have hundreds of people that are not serious. We are taking the selected few people that are serious, and we are focusing on those people to explain to them what they can do for this year to get selected and to possibly move to Canada as fast as possible. Right? So we have talked about 8 different changes that Canada has done in the year 2025, and they would continue this year 2026. The number nine change that they have done to their Canadian immigration process is updating rules for maintained status. Many of you that are not in Canada currently, you will not really understand this. But those that are in Canada, because those that they affect are those that are temporary residents in Canada on maintained status who file more than one extension application. Now, this is very important. If you are a visitor, normally as a visitor in Canada, at most you should stay in Canada for 6 months. At most. But some people will extend their stay. You understand? They will extend, like in the year 2025, as they said IRCC changed how maintained status works when a person submits multiple extension applications. Under the updated approach, if a temporary resident submits a second extension application while on maintained status and the first application is refused, the second application will not extend the authorized stay and would also be refused. So prior to this change, submitting a subsequent application while on maintained status could extend a foreign national's period of authorized stay in Canada, although it would not give them, you understand, authorization to work or study. So maintained status provides a foreign national whose permit has extended with legal authorization to work or to study in Canada under the terms of their existing permit, as long as they applied for an extension before the expiry and they remain, you understand, in Canada. So that's the number 9. What we are saying is if you have been in Canada maybe as a visitor, or you have been in Canada as a student, or you have been in Canada as a temporary foreign worker, you know that all those routes, visitor visa is just 6 months you can stay, study permit maybe 1 year or 2 years, work permit maybe 1 year or 2 years, or even 3 years. Many of them they have expiry dates. You understand? And after the expiry date, you can extend your stay. But extending your stay now is now tricky. It's not everybody that has the opportunity to extend their visas any longer. Now, the last update that we have for you today is the update for extending the public policy, allowing certain closed work permit holders to change employers. Now, whom does this affect? It affects some foreign nationals in Canada with employer-specific closed work permits. In the year 2025, IRCC continued and they also updated the public policy that allows certain temporary foreign workers on employer-specific work permits to request authorization to begin working for a new employer and the occupation while their new work permit application is in process. But under this policy, a worker could gain work experience, work authorization within 10 days time rather than what having to wait much longer for the new work permit to be issued as of the time of the writing. So the processing time for a work permit application from within Canada now is 210 days, and it replaced an original policy which was signed as the temporary public policy during the COVID-19 era. So what it means is for those who have temporary, maybe you came into Canada through a job sponsored you to come to Canada, or a company sponsored you to come to Canada, you may just be able to work for that company. But if you want to work for another company, you may have to get another work permit, you understand, and actually put that particular company in that your work permit application so that you have the opportunity to work for another company. All right, so we come to the end of the 10 biggest updates that Canada immigration policy of 2025 would affect, or would, you understand, would actually cause for many immigrants this particular year of the year 2026. So if you have any questions whatsoever, you can drop it on the comment section right now. You can ask live, you can join us, and you can accept your invite to join, you understand, our live session. If you don't have, don't forget, we are going to be having a live masterclass on the 10th of January 2026. And this live masterclass, we are going to be discussing the number one skill that Canada is currently prioritizing for those who want to migrate to Canada permanently or otherwise in this particular year 2026. So if you want to be part of that live masterclass, you can go on our website aosglobal.org or click on the link on our bio. Once you click on the link on our bio, you'll be able to actually see our link, our website, and you'll be able to go get your own ticket. It is by ticket alone. It is not going to be made available on social media. So if you want to be part of that, where we are going to be focused on just, no matter who you are, one skill can help you move to Canada. One skill that you can learn, or one skill that if you already have, you can use. And we're going to be discussing about that. And it's going to be a masterclass where we'll focus on individuals. We are not just going to be talking to a group of people. We'll be talking to individuals and giving you, you understand, strategies on how you alone can actually work on your immigration and how you can make it successful for you and your family members. All right. So thank you very much. If we don't have any questions, if we don't have any clarifications or comments, then we are going to be calling it a day. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this. And subsequently, when we have any live sessions, you can always get notified to join our live sessions. Don't forget, we also come on at least once every week to talk about trending topics like this, talk about a lot of news updates as we have in Canada, and how you can also benefit from it. The summary of all the changes we talked about today is that across board, across all pathways, there are 5 ways people really come to Canada: study permits to come and study as international students, work permit to come and work for 1 or 2 year contract, visitor visa to come and tour the country, asylum seekers to come and seek and become a refugee, or permanent residents residency to come and become a resident of the country. Those 5 ways, you understand, Canada has different policies, different changes, and some are for the betterment of people, some would restrict other people from coming to Canada. But either way, if one doesn't favor you, what we have found out in these changes and policies is look at other ways that you can come into Canada. Don't just focus on one particular way. Don't basically put all your eggs in one basket. I remember when I was coming to Canada, when I was working on my Canadian immigration, I didn't just focus on one pathway. I focused on 4 different programs. You understand? I worked on Express Entry. I had an Express Entry profile, but I didn't just wait there. I also created a provincial nominee program, expression of interest. You understand? I created expression of interest profiles on about 2 to 3 provinces, on Saskatchewan, you understand, on Prince Edward Island. I also created, I also had my Quebec, yes, Quebec skilled worker program. I also created my profile on Quebec skilled worker program. You understand? So that I I was able to spread my tentacles and say, okay, if Expo Century doesn't work, PMP might work. If PMP doesn't work, Quebec skilled worker immigration program can work. And as God would have it, 2 of them didn't work, 2 worked out for me. You understand? Saskatchewan didn't pick me. Prince Edward Island didn't pick me. But Ontario picked me and Quebec picked me. And as they say, the rest is history. I chose to actually come to Ontario, Canada. So if you want that opportunity. That is why we are talking about some of the changes that Canada has had, you understand, last year, and they would always be doing, or they will continue with this year, 2026. So for more information, for more guidance, for more inquiries on how you also can make it happen for you, you understand, go on our website, aosglobal.org, you understand, or click on the link in our bio to actually get access, you understand, to us. So with that, thank you so much for joining this live session, and we do hope to see you in our next live session, whether this week or next week. All right. So that being said, bye for now, everyone.